The Crisco Kid Block Party.
All right, our next guest on the show, he is a global icon, a trailblazer for Latinos in Hollywood, and for over 4 decades, he's been entertaining audiences in Spanish and English on TV and films. You've seen him in Instructions Not Included, great movie, Overboard, How to Be a Latin Lover, and the Oscar-winning Coda. But today, we're talking to him about the final season, season 4 of his hit Apple TV series, Acapulco. Ladies and gentlemen, the Emmy Award-winning Eugenio Derbez. That's how you gotta do the intro. If I'm gonna bring you in, it's gotta be done right.
Thank you for such a beautiful introduction.
You are literally a global icon, and when I said that I would be interviewing you today, people were like, "Wait, how many questions are you gonna ask him? How many of us get the opportunity?" I was like, "Well, hold on, right quick. We'll get to your questions, but we gotta talk about Acapulco, man. I mean, this series, we're going into season 4 here. Everyone has been talking about it. It's brilliant. It's smart. It's funny. Congratulations. I know this time around, well, how do you feel? How does it feel?
I feel I feel happy because get to a 4th season is complicated. It's very complicated to get to a 2nd season, and we've made it all the way to the 4th season. But you know what? I was trying to play and portray Mexico in a different way. Because first of all, I wanted to make a family-friendly show. Because nowadays, every time you want to watch a series, everything is about killing, kidnapping, murder, sex, violence. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch, the Love Boat, the Monsters, the Addams Family. It was like I could watch TV with my parents. And you can't do that anymore nowadays. And Acapulco is a family-friendly show. It's full of all these stories that happened in the 80s in Acapulco, because in the 80s, Acapulco was the place to go on vacation. All the Hollywood stars were there, the royalty all around the world, because paparazzis were forbidden. So whatever happened in Acapulco stayed in Acapulco. And we decided to make a show about it, and that's why it's been so successful.
When I talk to people why they love it so much, what do you think? Was it something special that you personally put in? Because not just acting in it, producing the show as well, executive producing the show and the series. I mean, what do you think is really resonating or has resonated with the fans this long and moving into the 4th season?
Well, a lot of things. First of all, the fact that we're being honest. For example, it's a bilingual series. It's more English than Spanish, but we wanted to make it real, because I was always like, criticizing movies when you see the 007 going to China, and everyone in China speaks English. They
Right.
go to Mexico, and everyone in Mexico speaks English. And that's not real, and that's not true. And the characters are also, all of them are lovable, and we want to make series funny, but with a lot of heart, and also with a lot of intrigue and secrets. Because back then in the 80s, there were a lot of secrets and stories about all these Hollywood stars and what happened in Acapulco. So we're telling all these stories, but in a family-friendly way.
I'm glad you mentioned stories, because I think as Latinos, I mean, it's like first nature for us, right? One thing we're going to do is tell stories pretty well. And the second thing is use our hands when we're speaking a lot of the time, right? And so I think the way that you've done this, the storytelling is great in Acapulco. And I just think anything you do, you're really good at telling the story, right? Showing another view of what maybe we didn't see. You did that with Dracula. We'll talk about that a little later. But
Yes.
most of us can see ourselves a little bit in each of the characters, right? Or someone who's
Absolutely.
kind of like one of those characters.
And we love gossiping, nos encanta el chisme. So Acapulco is about that. I'm telling the story to my nephew, and he's always like asking me, and what happened, and why this, why that, and I'm telling all these stories that most of them are based in true stories, and that's why it's so interesting because we put inside the stories all these things that we heard about the Acapulco in the 80s, and that makes it so unique and real and different and interesting.
Real quick, still with Acapulco, but I know you've traveled all across the world, and we've seen whether it was Acapulco, whether it was Tulum, Cancun was hot for a minute. Everyone goes to Cabo.
Yeah.
Where do you think is the spot now? And has the tourism or the Department of Acapulco, have they called you and said, "Hey, thank you. We're seeing more tourists that are coming here now"?
Well, yeah, actually, they recently, because of Acapulco and instruction not included, which it tells also a story in Acapulco. They gave me a statue in Acapulco. I have my own statue and my own turnaround.
How does it look? Can you show me the statue right quick? Because I know we know Rocky statues like this in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone. What is your statue? Because I haven't seen. I didn't know this. What does yours look like?
I'm just like standing like very straight and smiling, and it's beautiful. You can Google it. So yeah, they've been really supportive and grateful. I have to confess that right now Acapulco is not in great shape. It's not as it was in the 80s. Probably right now the spot, the most popular spot for tourists nowadays is the Mayan Riviera, Cancun, Tulum, all this area and in the Mayan Riviera, and of course Cabo,
Oh yeah.
and Puerto Vallarta too.
I want to just stick with Acapulco. One more question, because if you had come on the show earlier, I would have asked you this then. But just about the storytelling about the series, right? I think it's always different, and I'm sure you chose this intentionally, how to tell the story through like the narration aspect instead of you just going through it, and in present time. What was the reasoning behind that? Did you find that it would have a better impact, or when you're choosing to tell a story like that, why?
Well, it started with a scheduled reason. Let me tell you why. We wanted to make a series, but I was really busy because I had a contract with a Lionsgate for movies, and I couldn't make any television. And I wanted to do some TV series. So we came up with the idea, why if we do a series based on the movie that I did called How to Be a Latin Lover? And we can do like a prequel, and I can be the narrator where I'm telling the story to my nephew, and that way we can shoot all my parts in one single week, and then I have time to continue working on my movies. That was initially the reason that we decided to make me a narrator in the story. Later, we discovered that it was really cool to be jumping in time from present, future, past. So that's when we decided to keep going. And now I'm also in the present. So we're still jumping, but now I'm more involved in the present than at the beginning, where I was just telling the story of my past. But it's a great way to tell story. And it's very active because you're always like going back and forth.
How much of the character moving into the fourth season here, talking about Acapulco on Apple TV, how much of Maximo is really you moving into this season? Are there personal stories that you got more that you experienced, but you can't really say which ones are your own personal stories?
Well, I don't know how did you came up with this, but it's real. There are a lot of stories that are related to my personal life. So yes, Maximo has a lot of Eugenio Derbez, or Eugenio Derbez has a lot of Maximo. So yes, there's some things involved there. I don't want to say which ones, but
We're trying to get you caught up. We don't want you to get in trouble. We just want to know that there is some truth behind some of these stories that we're gonna see in season 4. Hey, earlier I talked about just your social media presence. I mean, we're talking millions and millions and millions of followers, and I'm sure you've got to just build relationships with people all over the globe. What has been one of the biggest moments, or just a couple of the moments that you've been most proud of, and that you can see your fans that have grown with you, some of the moments that you've been able to take them with you and just embrace it all?
I would say, well, definitely when I started working in the US, because um, I started like in 2003, and it everything started like by taking English lessons because my English was too basic, still is, as you can hear. It's very broken.
Me, Chuck, you speak better English than people I know.
I
You're good.
know, but I'm still learning and still trying. But it was hard to translate my comedy from Spanish to English. But I felt really proud when I ended up in on Broadway in 2005. And I have to confess something. A lot of lines that I was saying that I learned, I didn't know what it means. I kind of have an idea, of course, but I was like, why are they laughing about this? And but being on Broadway was one of my probably my best moments in my career. And of course, when I got the star in the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, oh my God, I honestly I couldn't believe it. I remember that when I got the news and they were telling me you should post about it, I was like, no, because I thought it was a joke.
Oh, wow. You thought
Uh,
you were being punked. You were being pranked.
I definitely, yeah.
But it
It
was
took like,
real, right? Because this is you, I think Pitbull, Sofia Vergara, like all of y'all around the same time, right?
yeah, and there are not much. I mean, just a few Mexicans
Yeah.
have stars. So I thought it was like the Walk of Fame, or the yeah, the Walk of Fame they have in Vegas, or there's another one in Mexico. But I was like, are you kidding me? In the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Los Angeles? Yeah, 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 yeah. But I thought it was a prank.
Well, you know, and I'm glad it's not. It's very real. Your place, whether it's in Spanish or in English, in cinema and TV, has very well been solidified. You know, I just mentioned Pitbull. We just talked about the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This is globalization. Have you guys? I know there's been meetings. I'm sure in public or in different places, but has there been any type of collaboration or project? Because I think this would be an amazing opportunity here.
Right? Well, of course, I love Pitbull. We meet constantly in award shows, in
Yeah.
Latin Grammys, because I've been hosting Latin Grammys many times, Premios Lo Nuestro, all this Latin award shows, and we became friends. And we tried to develop a project, so we've been talking about it, but it hasn't happened because we both are kind of busy.
Yeah, y'all over.
But, but yes, there's something that we might do in the near future.
Exclusive. We got it. We got it. We got to see it. We got to see it. Okay. Eugenio, I have a list of questions. I said that you would be on the show, and man, Instagram went crazy. My DMs. My girl was like, "Who is messaging you at 2 a.m? What is going on?" I was like, "Girl, I'm trying to get these. I'm trying to get these questions in." So, yeah, right. Okay. This one talks about if you could relive one day from your youth, like Maximo in Acapulco. What day would that be?
Ah, God.
I know that.
Um, I would choose a day where Maximo is telling this story because he's looking for a redemption. He wants like to correct all his mistakes, and I would do the same. I would choose May 11, 1978, when I was very mad at my girlfriend. I was 17, 16, 17 years old, I think. And I was very mad at my girlfriend, so because she was late. So as soon as she got in the car, I start speeding really fast in a small street, and I had the worst accident I've had in my life
Oh,
because I was doing a tantrum. And yeah, thank God no one got killed, but we got really bad injuries. I've never told this story ever.
I didn't know we were going there today, but this is wow.
I literally destroyed like 3 or 4 cars
Oh,
on a tree, and it was terrible. But yeah, I would go back to that day and try to be more mature.
yeah, yeah. When someone knows the date off
Yes.
top like that, it's something that definitely sticks with you. And moving on to our next question, and thank you for sharing that. They want to know your favorite Mexican dish. They said, is it tacos? Is it cochinita pibil? What is your go-to now?
Ah, cochinita pibil.
All day. Come on, come on.
I had an accident again, another accident like 2, 3 years ago, and I
Accident.
had to start.
Best.
I broke my shoulder in 17 pieces, but and I had to go back to eating protein. But I was vegetarian like for 10 years, and the only thing that could break my, I was really like into it. And but every time I saw cochinita pibil, it was like, sorry, um, uh, I'm gonna break my vegetarianism.
You gotta have it.
Yeah, I gotta have it. Cochinita is my favorite dish in the world.
I'm a fan. Ever since I went to Mexico City, at Xochimilco, I had a blue tortilla with the chili relleno stuffed inside and all wrapped up, and that
Wow.
that's still my go-to if I can ever find something like that. But of course, tacos is like the all-time favorite. It's got to be the all-time favorite. All right, another
Whoa.
question. Oh, go ahead.
In New York, I just found an amazing place of tacos. Tacos number one. If you're in New York, it's the closest thing to the to Mexican tacos. They're amazing, amazing.
I wanted to bring someone in who he's got a question. He's got some comments for you. Eugenio, this is Will Hernandez.
Will, how are you?
He is
Eugenio, what's up, man?
one of the greatest linemen in the NFL, and he is also one of the ambassadors for the NFL in Mexico. And so I figured that I had to put you two together and meet, because you two literally not only represent Mexico, but also the United States. You guys are great, and I figured this had to be some type of conversation right here.
No, for sure. I appreciate you having me, Crisco. Eugenio, primeramente te quiero decir, man, que soy un fanático desde que era niño y
Uh,
pues desde la familia Peluche y todo eso, ¿verdad? Y he tenido la bendición de jugar en la NFL, ya voy en mi 8º año y,
wow.
y pues aquí representando a México a lo mejor que puedo. Jugué para los Gigantes de Nueva York 4 años y ya llevo 3 años con los Cardenales aquí de Arizona. Y pues un gran honor para mí poder conocer a alguien como tú.
Ay, mi querido Will, thank you. Gracias por qué lindas palabras, Will. Felicidades, de verdad, muchas felicidades. Porque no eres un niño normal, Will.
Eso sí, no, es normal, nunca he sido, nunca he sido. Oye, te quería comentar nomás, Eugenio, voy a tener unos campamentos allá en México pronto, en la ciudad y en Monterrey, de fútbol americano. ¿A ti te gusta el deporte?
Me encanta. Love it. I
No.
love it. Sí.
¿Has ido tú a un partido de NFL?
Nada más una sola vez, y fui a trabajar porque fue un Pro Bowl y me invitaron a trabajar, entonces no pude ni ver el partido porque estaba yo trabajando.
Bueno, pues estás invitado
¿De
personalmente
veras?
cuando quieras ir a un partido, man.
¡Yay!
Yes. There we go.
Definitely, it's a yes.
That's awesome.
Let me look for a date. Sí, ya.
Un gran honor, bro, un saludazo y gracias, y parte de toda mi familia también, que somos muy fanáticos, y pues a darle con todo.
Eso.
Gracias.
Saludos, Will. Abrazos, mijo.
Saludos.
With entertainment as a whole, you've always broken barriers for Latinos in entertainment. Do you feel any type of responsibility? Like, do you feel any pressure, or is it just something that you love to do, like reaching back and bringing them other Latinos with you, whether they be from Mexico, Colombia, El Salvador, Cuba, wherever they might be. Do you really appreciate that opportunity?
Yes, yes, and you know what? That's why I'm constantly. If you watch my movies or my TV shows, I'm always talking about Latinos, or I'm always like inviting the best actors I know in Mexico. I've had in my shows Jaime Camil, Omar Chaparro, Mariana Treviño, Kate del Castillo. I'm always trying to work with them. And for example, I remember when I did Overboard that I brought Omar Chaparro, Jesus Ochoa, and Adrián Uribe, that are three amazing comedians from Mexico. And I remember when we did the focus group, the Americans, not Latinos, Americans were like, "Who are these guys? The guys who plays the construction workers? They're amazing." And I felt so proud to be able to show the world and all the Americans the Mexican talent. So I feel it's like a win-win because I'm helping them in a certain way to reach a new audience, and of course I'm glad to have them in my movies because they're amazing. So and shows like Acapulco, I'm always trying to play the positive side of Mexico because I'm tired of watching the news, and every time they talk about Mexico, it's about drugs, about violence, crime, narcos, and we Mexicans are much more than that, and Mexico is much more than that. We are a country full of color, amazing food, and beautiful people. So I'm always trying to, yeah, to show that positive side of the of my country.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Earlier I did mention that the movie Dracula, just for people that don't know the story, that's a whole incredible other interview or topic by itself. But
Yes.
I know there's plenty of stories, and there were different obstacles that were facing Latinos in Hollywood at that time. What are the biggest obstacles or hurdles that you still see, or even stereotypes? You touched on it just a little bit right there, but that we still have to get over in entertainment?
Oh God, that's a great question. I feel that there are many. First of all, I feel that inclusion, for example, because I feel that Hollywood talks a lot about, yeah, now we are more inclusive and now we're giving opportunities to everyone. I'm not sure about that because, yes, they have like a checkbox where they include a Latino, an Asian, Afro American in the movie, but just with one line here or two lines there. But for me, that's not inclusion. Real inclusion is when you hire, it has to start from the top. For example, in my case, a Latino executive who can hire a Latino writer to write stories about us, because that's the real change. It's not just like put a Latino to say one line and then we just check the box and that's it. No, when you tell stories about, I just did a movie called Radical. You can check it out. It tells a true story about education. It's amazing. It won a lot of awards, and it's interesting. It's touching. It talks about how bad education is all around the world, and that's a real way to include other cultures when you tell their stories, not when you put someone just to say a line, just to check a box. So I've been always like rooting for that and working on that direction.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Last question, and I do this. I keep saying I'm going to write a book. I have not started to write the book yet, but I think it'll be a good book one day. And it really is based on everyone's why, right? If there's someone who needs motivation to get started, no matter if they're 12 or 81, and they want to get going on a project, just a little motivation, like at this point in your career. Eugenio, what is your motivation? What is your why that you keep going, you keep winning, you keep succeeding?
I love to be out of my comfort zone, because every time that I'm out of my comfort zone, I am growing. And I noticed that because when I was 40, in my 40s, I was like bored already. I was like not excited about my career or my life. And when I started trying to conquer Hollywood, every single day it's like an adventure. I am this morning I was like worried about this interview and all the interviews because English is not my first language. I'm always fearful, but that's why I'm always studying. So right now that I am in my 60s, I'm still learning, I'm still studying, I'm still hungry because I want to conquer a new audience, and that's what keeps me going. Because I want, if I would have stayed in my comfort zone and I would have kept just working in Mexico for my audience, doing my stuff, I would be probably bored and I would be boring for my audience. And the fact that I'm always trying to reach new horizons, that keeps me alive. And the fact that I'm learning something new every day, I feel young and hungry every single day.
You just motivated me to keep going right now. You just motivated me.
Eso.
In 30 seconds, again, Acapulco on Apple TV. If they've never seen it before, or even if they have seen it, 30 seconds or less, why should they watch season 4, the final season of Acapulco?
Just Google, so you'll see a lot of reviews of people saying that this is a hidden gem. It's a series that you can watch with your entire family. It's family friendly. It's fun. It's touching. It has a lot of gossiping, of intrigue, great stories. The characters are amazing. You will fall in love with all of them. Colorful. It has everything. Everything is comparing it to Ted Lasso. It's like Ted Lasso, well, with less marketing budget, let's say.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the conversation today. Acapulco, season 4. Congratulations on another series. You're welcome on the show anytime.
Thank you very much. July 23rd on Apple TV Plus. Thank you, Crisco.